Hello, hello. God, here we are, day 5 for 5 days to sugar freedom. I am so happy you are with me today. And I'm really excited to be sharing this last day with you face to face and in person. So this is a really, really great opportunity for us to talk, and this way there's no delay. So I decided not to do a presentation. So I want you guys to take out whatever homework you have. Feel free, any comments or questions that you have, you can just go ahead and type them in, and I'm going to get to them very shortly. So let's begin. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Stacy Portugal. I am a board certified life coach, and I specialize in health, weight loss, and wellness. And I am also the creator of the 10-Day Detox, which you may have heard of, and also the Shake the Sugar Lifestyle Plan. And I really struggled with fad dieting for 20 years. And once I found the system that works for me, I have been able to share it with many people, many followers. We've had about 600 people go through the 10-Day Detox. I have private clients, I have group coaching clients, and I feel very privileged and excited to share this journey with all of you. So I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for being here every week. You've been here every day for 5 days for this particular presentation. And I love all the inspiring things you say and you post, and all the ways that you support each other on our Facebook group right here, Go From Cravings to Control with Low Carb Living. So let's get moving. Just a reminder that, hey, any decisions you make for you and your health are entirely up to you, and I care about you. So please do check with your doctor or health practitioner before you begin any diet or exercise program. All right, so let's kind of review what we've been doing for these 5 days. I have all the videotapes still up, so I do suggest, if you're just tuning in or if you missed something, to go back to the video and to watch it. I do recommend that you watch it in the order in which I presented it. Day 1, we had a little technical glitch with Facebook, so I did come back into the group. So it's actually 2 videotapes, but I do recommend that you go through it just as I presented it, because all this information has been building on itself day by day. And for those of you who've registered to get all the replays sent right to your inbox, I'll be doing that probably tomorrow or Saturday. So you should have that real soon. Plus, all the people who've registered, you are all, if you are a new client or you've never taken advantage of this promotion, you are all invited to have a free coaching session with me. And that link will be in your next email. And it's not too late to sign up. I'm going to keep, I believe the link stays active until tomorrow. So if you're interested in receiving all the replays, go ahead and just click the link, today, tomorrow, whatever. But anyway, I see lots of people are joining. Welcome, everybody. So far in these 4 days, we started the 4 days talking about why you feel addicted to sugar. And I hear this all the time from clients, and I felt this way myself. And no, I wasn't like eating candy all day. My sugar was things like lean cuisines. I used to love the lean cuisine pizza, and, baked chips and Subway sandwiches. And so feeling addicted, as we talked about earlier, is a real feeling. It's a thing. And it's a thing because it really starts in your brain. And we talked about all the places that make you feel addicted to sugar and carbs. And now, yesterday and today, we are really culminating into the how to break this vicious cycle of sugar addiction. So the goal here is that we really want to attain sugar freedom. So I have a question for you. You did have some homework. One of the pieces of the homework was you were to be tracking or just writing pen and paper down of everything you're eating and drinking for like 3 days. You know, so if you did it for 1 day, if you did it for 2 days, if you did it for 3 days, it's all good. It's information. So I hope that you brought that with you. So that was kind of an ongoing homework. And then yesterday's homework was, I wanted you to look in your kitchen and really begin to notice what triggers you, okay? So the first question I want to ask you is, what triggers you that's currently in your kitchen? You can go ahead and write down that question. I'm just making a quick note because I'm going to come back to this. You know, we live with various people in our families. So your kitchen may not always look just picture perfect for a low carb plan, and that's okay. But there are ways that we can manage the kitchen. So go ahead and type in what you've noticed about your kitchen. What actually is triggering you right now in your kitchen, okay? And let's go ahead and talk about overall how we manage our kitchen. You know, when my kids were young, I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but it really bears repeating. When my kids were young, I used to stuff the pantry with snacks, chips, desserts, popcorns, whatever. The refrigerator was never quite so stuffed, but my pantry was always stuffed. And when I sort of went back to school. I went to life coaching school, and then I got a certification in nutrition. But one of the things I started realizing when I was on my own weight loss journey was you don't want to have too many tempting things in your house. Because here's the thing, guys. When you have too many tempting foods in your house, you have to say no to them again and again until they're gone. And so we really do want to avoid that. Now, I know some of us have kids, or we have grandkids, or we have spouses or significant others that want foods that are not plan friendly. But here's the thing. You have to realize that if it's right in front of your face, it's going to trigger you. It's going to tempt you every single day to go off plan. So you really have to kind of avoid that. So you can go ahead and type in your best suggestions for moving food or not being triggered by the food in your house. I'll make a few suggestions right now. So one thing I started doing as my kids got older was I would pretty frequently clean the pantry. So maybe once every week or two, and I do this to this day, I clean out the pantry. Now I don't have kids living at home, but my husband really likes chips and popcorn, and I do not buy it. That's kind of the funny thing. I do buy some of the chips for him because he likes his chips and hummus every night. But sometimes he does bring stuff home. That's the way it is, and that's fine. So every week or two, I just kind of clean out the pantry, and I make sure that the stuff that is off plan for me, that could really be a trigger for me, it is completely outside of my line of vision. I had a client once who, her husband worked for a dessert company, so he just was bringing home dessert literally on a daily basis. He worked for a bakery type place. She made him put all those bakery items in the trunk of his car. She just got it out of her kitchen. Now, some ideas, if you have children or spouses and this stuff is there, is Get it out of your line of vision. So what does that mean? That means that let them bend all the way down in the pantry. If they're older, let them, and they're boys especially, they might be taller, let them reach all the way up to get what they need in the pantry. Your healthy pantry food, which should be a pretty small amount of food, I would like to say, and I'll get to that in a moment, but your food should be right at the line of your line of vision. So that's what you're looking at. That's your choice. Their stuff could be in a completely different location. I had another client that put all of her kids' like junk food in a bottom drawer in her kitchen. So it was really not a place she even thought about too often. She had her shelf and they had her drawer, and it was all good. Now, another thing you need to realize, even if you are a low carb lady, you need to realize that you don't want to have too big of variety in your kitchen. Variety might seem like a good thing. It does create the idea of abundance, which is a very positive feeling. But studies show that when we have too much variety, we tend to overeat. We actually eat more calories. So maybe you want to try, these low carb crackers or like some low carb bread. Fine, do it. But don't buy 3 different varieties. Try one variety at a time, consume it, and then you'll make the choice. Does this work in my plan? If so, did I like this brand? Otherwise, don't bring it home. So buy less variety for yourself, but also if you have that significant other, those children that really like the junk food, don't buy them too much variety, because studies show once again that they'll eat more calories. And honestly, it's not good for any of us to have too much variety in our kitchen. Treat your kitchen like a marble floor. You want it clean and polished and simple and organized. That is going to make for a plan-friendly kitchen. And you want foods that are plan-friendly to be at the ready. So that might involve snack options. It might involve having a fruit bowl out. As my kids got older and I got smarter, what I started doing was, instead of having this pantry full of food, I started popping popcorn and peeling oranges. So it was like orange slices in a bowl. And my kids loved it. First of all, they loved coming home to it. They felt great eating it, and I felt good giving it to them. Yeah, when I look back, it was kind of a high carb snack, so I might make a little bit of a change. But it was way better than them going into the pantry for cookies, for the little 100-calorie snack pack junky foods. So think about making healthy food convenient. That's where the whole concept of fast food came from. We need convenient foods. So you want to make healthy eating in your kitchen easy and accessible. And here's the thing, planning and prepping are an essential part of an organized kitchen. So you need to have it organized, as I mentioned before, just like you're thinking of it like you're in a palace with the marble floors and everything is so clean and beautiful, and you're so proud to open up those cabinets because they look so beautiful on the inside too. You're proud of what's in there. It tells somebody that you care about your body and you care about your children and your spouse. But you also have to have some processes in place in order to have an organized kitchen. So here's what I mean by that. I'm really talking about food planning and food prep. So planning, we talked about a little bit earlier in this workshop about planning your meals, tracking your meals, and how important that is to breaking free of the sugar handcuffs and finding your sugar freedom. But you also want to know that you've got some sort of process, some sort of routine in place that you do food prep on a regular basis. Typically, when I go to the grocery store, if I don't buy things pre-chopped, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It depends on my week, it depends on my mood, it depends on my budget. But always leaving yourself, and I'm not kidding, it should only take around 15 minutes, to, depending on how extensive your food prepping. But I might go as far as, if I know I have a lot going on that week and I'm really on the run, I might go as far as taking paper bags, putting my yogurt with my berries, with my nuts, everything's measured out. All I got to do is mix, all ready to go, so that I have a healthy snack at the ready. Or maybe that week I bought like crudité. I love snow peas, carrots, and celery. So maybe I'm going to do a quick, everything is cut up or just, divided into servings. And then I'm going to put them in individual little containers, and I'm going to pair them with my single serving hummus, or I'm going to pair them with an ounce of cheese or some nuts, whatever it is. But having processes in place can make a really huge difference if you work and you want to bring your healthy, low carb lunch to work. Do it. Create a layered salad. You always start with the wet ingredients, and I've got go onto my YouTube channel because I've got a gazillion videos on this kind of stuff. But you start with your wet ingredients and you just layer up, and you will have salads at the ready. You can put it all in a mason jar. I always put the dressing on the bottom, and I work my way up from wet to dry ingredients. When I'm ready for the salad, shake it up really good, and I have a gorgeous salad. Another way you manage your kitchen is to know what the week looks like. So you're making a grocery list, but you're also planning your healthy meals, and that's where your grocery list is coming from. Taking just a few minutes each and every week to make that grocery list, create your meals for the week. Not create them, but plan them for the week. Literally, like I don't know about you, but I'm an empty nester, and because I'm an empty nester, we do eat out probably easily 4 nights a week. And so for those like 3-4 nights that I'm cooking, I'm putting some thought into what does that day look like? How much time am I going to have to actually prepare my dinner? Or do I need to go to the butcher and grab a brick chicken, that I'll just pop in the oven? Or is it a day that I want to try a new recipe? And so maybe I'll have fun and sort of Google some fun stuff on the computer, or I'll grab one of my many, many cookbooks. So really doing that, planning those healthy meals, knowing what your week looks like so you have a succinct grocery list. And then I want you to think about the question, how do you feed your family? I don't care if you've got young kids, if you've got older kids, if you are married, if you are feeding a boyfriend, a girlfriend, another family member, maybe you're feeding a parent. Everyone in your household will benefit from a low carb lifestyle. I didn't say ketogenic. I didn't say, I'm not making this complicated. Low carb, it is a very relative vague term. But when I say low carb, I mean lower than the average American consumes. The average American consumes upwards of 200 plus grams of carbs a day. Way more than we need for our energy needs. So you really have to think to yourself, how do I want to feed my family? I'm assuming that you are the female head of the household in your family, and maybe you haven't really taken that task upon yourself. But let me tell you something. I urge you to step into that stronger version of yourself. Role model healthy eating. Teach your children. Teach your spouse. Even if your children are grown, it is not too late to role model healthy eating for them. Teach your grandchildren when they come over. If you're stocking up on the candy and all that shit food, excuse my French, if you're stocking up on that every time you see your grandkids, what kind of message do you think you're sending these young, vulnerable, impressionable minds? What would happen if when the grandkids came over, if you had a really yummy treat, if maybe you took some turkey and you put some hummus on there with some crunchy cucumber and some avocado, and you rolled it up like sushi and you cut it into slices? Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be teaching them that, hey, healthy food can be delicious, we can get creative, and it can be fun? So really thinking about how you want to feed your family. This is all part of organizing your kitchen. Your kitchen is the engine of your healthy eating. Think about that. Your kitchen is the engine of your healthy eating. Now, you may have other environments in your life in which you eat. So some people eat at their desk. I do that a little, and I even work from home. Some people eat, in the car. Maybe they have to, driving carpool late afternoon, you need a snack. So wherever your eating environment is, you need to manage that environment. It needs to be that palace with marble floors that you are just so proud of, which speak to the way that you treat your body and to how you want those around you to treat their bodies. Another thing to think about is, do you sit down to meals? Of course, I know I just said that sometimes I do eat at my desk. Yes, I'm sitting at my meal, but I don't recommend eating and working, which I am guilty of also. I'm human. But as much as possible, I always suggest sit down and eat. Maybe you should have some fresh flowers on the table. Maybe you have a placemat with a lovely place setting. Maybe it's the one time of day that you require of your husband or your children to sit down and eat as a family. It might only last 15 minutes, and that's okay. But it's a healthy way to enjoy a meal. If you're eating while reading the paper, surfing the net, watching television, or okay, I'm guilty of this too. If you're guilty of standing at the countertop and eating your meal because maybe you're on a call or you feel too busy in some other way, stop. Sit down, value that meal time. Value the time that you are taking to nourish your body. So let it all go. We live in a world of multitasking to the nth degree, as we all know. There's a gazillion tabs open on my computer right now. My phone is right next to me charging and turned over. But we live in a world of multitasking. I've got a TV here, it's not on. But what I'm saying is our minds and our bodies really are not meant to do so many things at once. So take it easy. Don't multitask. Value your time that you sit down and that you eat your meal. So just a quick review. Don't overstock. This is not Costco. Your kitchen should not look like Costco. It should look like that beautiful palace with polished marble floors, and you are proud to open up any cabinet in your kitchen. Make sure you go through your cabinets, your pantry, throw out food that has expired. Don't have too much junk lying around. Make a plan each and every week. So get in the habit. Maybe for me, it's always Sundays. I like to make a grocery list. I usually know what my week looks like. That doesn't mean that you can't be flexible, but make a list, plan, track, be as organized as you can each and every week. Create that ritual. Think about how you want to feed your family and the kind of role modeling that you want to do. Step into that powerful mother, wife, grandmother that you are meant to be. Show people the way of eating and living healthy. Create new traditions. You know, just because it's a tradition to eat a certain food, not saying you shouldn't have it, but that doesn't mean that there cannot be many other healthy alternatives that eventually may crowd out and spring up as new traditions. And sit down for your meals, okay? Now, I hope that is helpful. The next thing that I want to talk about is your tracker. So as we know, our homework for a couple of the days was all about your tracking. So I'd like you to go ahead and comment if you have an answer to any of these questions. And again, it's not required to participate, but I really encourage you to participate because this is how we learn, and this is how we learn from each other, how we inspire each other, and this is how we create that learning frame of mind that really takes us to the next level in our weight loss journey. So what I want to know from you, what have you noticed from tracking? So you've hopefully been tracking, even if it's just one day. Did you notice anything? Were there any sort of patterns that emerged? Did you notice, you know, the phone rings, it's my mother, and all of a sudden I'm walking to the pantry? Like, did you notice that? Did you notice maybe, gee, every night, you know, I kind of blow it every night because I start with this nighttime eating cycle. It starts with one little thing, and then all of a sudden I'm eating something else, and then I get frustrated, so I stop tracking. What did you notice? Go ahead and type it into the comments. Another thing you might be noticing is tough times of the day, or you might see a pattern of emotional eating. And we didn't get super far with emotional eating for this workshop, but needless to say, it's part of that chatter in your head. So it might be really helpful for you to go back to the, I think it was days 1 and 2. Another thing that I have, it's a product on my website, a very inexpensive product. It's called Manage Your Mindset. And that is a very helpful self-led workshop to help you start noticing what's going on in your mind, but also to set you on that learner path. So I also want to know, give me a like if you thought that tracking is easy for you. Now, I hope that you were tracking, and I really want to talk about also what to look for in a tracker. So some of the things I just mentioned, you definitely should look for. Trackers are super helpful because they can show you where you're like consistently unraveling. They'll show you patterns. They can show you nutritional information if you're using one of the apps, such as MyFitnessPal. That's the one that I usually recommend to my clients. They're also really helpful because they serve as accountability. So it's accountability to yourself. And that is super important. When you're accountable to yourself, you start taking ownership of your journey. You know, I've been helping people lose weight for 11 years, and I can tell you one thing for sure. I'm not responsible for your weight loss. Does that surprise you? I am not responsible for your weight loss. When my clients get to go, when they are feeling successful, it is their success. It is their hard work that has got them there. It's my job to coach you, to bring out that level of change, to help you show up in this journey in the most powerful way that you can, to step into that most transformative version of yourself. That's my job. One of the ways that you can really help yourself is by tracking. It really creates a lot of accountability, and it gives you data. The one thing that I want people to pay attention to, if nothing else, is carbohydrates. How many carbohydrates are you eating in a day? And that's how we attain sugar freedom. So I'm going to wrap it up by giving you about 5 ways to attain sugar freedom. And the first one is, so that we can kind of put all of this together for you, is it's really good information to know how many carbs you eat in a day. And that tracking assignment was pretty much for that purpose. Now, if you did a pen and paper and so you're not really sure, I want to once again invite you to email me at stacy@stacyportugal.com, or you can Facebook message me. Show me your tracker. You could just take a picture of the pen and paper, even if it's just for one day, and I can give you a little feedback. I can tell you how many carbs you're eating just by seeing what you're eating. So it's really helpful to have the data. You should know how many carbs you're eating, and that's a really good starting place, and you can start working, coming down from there. And use this group, and feel free to invite anybody in this group. It's open to the public, that you just have to request to join. But use that information and the support of this group to start coming down in the number of carbs. So that's number 1. That's how we attain sugar freedom. Number 2 is, this is a biggie, avoid processed food and avoid the junk. Stick to whole foods as much as possible. I know it's not always attainable to only eat whole foods. There are times that we need stuff that's convenient, and that's really why managing your kitchen is so important. But if 90% of your diet can be whole food oriented, you're going to start winning that war. You will attain the sugar freedom that you are looking for. Number 3 is what's in your kitchen, just like we talked about a minute ago. Manage your environment. Your kitchen is your temple. It's your shiny marbled palace, and you are so proud to present it to anybody. You are willing to show anybody what's in your cabinet, because what's in your cabinets says a lot about how you feed yourself, how you honor yourself and your body. And that's the best way to step into the best version of yourself. And you can literally start just by simply managing your kitchen. And then you might want to, now this is all kind of like, you're going to need to do some sort of detox, as we talked about earlier in the broadcast. I did give you some very specific steps. I believe it was day 3 or 4, so go back and check that video. Again, it's not too late to join, to get on the list, so that you're going to get all these 5 days sent right to your inbox. And remember that if you're not a current client, if you haven't taken advantage of this promotion, you are welcome to a free coaching session with me by joining the list. So all that information will come to your inbox, and I'll put the link in the comments right after this broadcast. One last thing to attain sugar freedom, and this is really important, guys. So I want you to think about this, and I don't want you to jump over this very important step. Identify your why. Knowing your why, really peeling back the layers of why you want to gain sugar freedom, is so important. And here's answers that are really meaningless. Well, I want to lose weight. My jeans are too tight. I hate the way I look. Okay. These are answers, and I understand that these could be your answers, but these are very surface answers. I want you to peel back the layers until you hit a nerve, until there is some sort of emotion that comes from your why. Because it is that why, it is that reason that you need to make note of. It should be at your disposal whenever there is temptation around. And the reason you peel back the layers and hit a nerve is because unless something pulls at you emotionally, it's not going to be enough to facilitate the kind of change that you need to make. So really get in touch with your why. All right, guys, I am so grateful from the bottom of my heart that you have joined me for 5 days to sugar freedom. It has been my honor and my pleasure to serve you, and I can't wait to see everything that you are going to be posting and all the good stuff coming up on Go From Cravings to Control. I want to also let you know that I do have group coaching, and it is coming very soon. The wait list opens in December, just mid-December. Everyone on the wait list gets priority. It's an invitation only for early bird pricing. So I don't have the link for you just yet. We have not released it, but it will be coming up very soon. And group coaching looks exactly like this, but guess what? You're all talking to me live on video conference. And let me tell you something. It is powerful. It is for people who are ready to transform, who are ready to be seen, who are ready to be visible. So I hope that's you. All right, guys. Hope this was helpful. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Have a great night.